Hello, I'm Steph H. Barker and this is a Bookish Topics video. Today I'm going to be talking about The Maze Runner. I read this book recently and I have to say I really enjoyed it. This is a bit of a review or a discussion where I'm just going to talk about what I thought worked well, what I thought needed improving. It's worth saying as well that I actually saw the film before I read the book. I watched it not realising there was a book. Thought, oh, I really like that. Did a bit of a IMDb search, find out what was going on with it. And turned out there was a book. What do I think worked? I really liked how it got straight into the action. From the get-go, where in the box with Thomas, we don't know what's going on, suddenly something is happening. I think as well, because the location of the Glade is new to Thomas as well as us, the writer could have spent ages talking about description and what was happening and what the Glade looked like, but actually the description was quite subtle, but enough so that we had a sense of what was going on and what the place looked like. I really liked the dialogue of the Gladers. I think my favourite was probably, I did like the word clunk, but I really liked that good. It made me laugh every time I read that actually. I think it's sort of something as simple as having like their own dialogue gave you the sense that they've really built a community together, and made sense as well for the fact that a lot of them have been there like 2 years, so they have made a community, they've made a society. And I think as well the writer James Dashner did a really good job at sort of showing the hierarchy between the boys. You know, so you had the keepers and then you had the different jobs that you could have, and some of them were obviously more desirable than others. I think the general world building of the Glade and the maze was really well done. I really liked that everyone had quite a distinct character. There were some filler characters in there, like Ben, is that his name? The guy who sort of tried to attack Thomas at the beginning. I think his name was Ben. Comment below if you know the answer, but I'm going to say Ben. Ben is introduced already being ill, so we don't really ever get to know anything about him. Generally, I thought the characters were quite different and interesting. My favourite character is definitely Newt. He always looked for the good in people, and he started off being sort of like a sidekick almost to Albie, and then he just got braver and he wasn't afraid to break the rules in the end, and he was just more loyal and independent. Newt was definitely my favourite character, although I suppose Thomas should be, but I just found him quite... He was okay. He was a bit defiant at times, but generally he improved as he got on, and I could understand why he was doing certain things. I thought the timeline of the action was really well done. There wasn't really too many moments where I thought, oh my god, I need something to happen. It was quite sort of paced out. I think the writer did a really good job at handling Thomas's memory loss. There wasn't that annoying moment that you get with amnesia people where suddenly, bang, they remember everything. It was more like he started to get sort of a niggle of a familiarity, which I thought worked really well. What I didn't like, I found the description of the Grievers really difficult to understand. I think because there isn't actually a creature that is like half robot thing. I was really struggling to get an image of it in my head. I almost kind of wish that there was a drawing of it at the back or something, because I think even having seen the film, I found it really difficult to picture what it looked like. In comparison to the film, I definitely think Teresa was introduced way too early in the book. She's introduced really early on, like what is it, like the next day or something after Thomas arrives. She's introduced, she arrives in the box, and then she's in a coma for like forever, and then she finally wakes up, and I just felt like even Thomas himself sort of forgets about her for quite a long time and then remembers her again, and I just thought surely it would have been better just to introduce her later. This is a little spoiler now. What was with the mind reading thing? It seemed really out of place. What was the benefit of Teresa and Thomas being able to talk in their minds to each other? Maybe it's revealed later on, I don't know. But it just didn't seem in keeping with the book as a whole. I think they did a good job of cutting that out of the film. This is another bit of a spoiler. What I really don't get is, so for the first time Thomas hears Teresa talking to him in his head, he freaks out about it, he runs out, runs into the maze, he's there for like 2 hours, then he comes back, falls asleep on sort of the outskirts, and that's it. Nobody ever finds out about it. He doesn't get punished for it. If he's freaked out and he's ran off, Newt would have known he was freaked out. Why on earth did Newt not look for him and then realise he must be in the maze, and then have to be in the prison thing for a day longer. That seemed like quite a big hole in the plot to me. Another spoiler, why can Gally not die? The first time he ran off into the maze, everyone thought, oh, he's got to be dead. And then he turns up all crazed, and I thought, okay, yeah, I can see that happening. And then the fact that we thought he was dead, he's not dead, it seems really strange, that to me. So overall, I actually really enjoyed the story. Sounds like I've moaned a lot about it, but generally I couldn't comment on things because I thought it was really good. I have to say though, it wasn't one of those books that I couldn't put down. Especially early on, I actually had to force myself to read it. But I believed the world. I really liked the majority of the characters, and I thought the development of them was really well done. I'm definitely going to continue reading this book series, and I think the next one is The Scorch Trials. So I'm going to try and read that before the film comes out this time round. I suppose overall, I would probably give this book a 3.5. It's better than a 3, but it's not quite up to the scale of some of the things that I've given a 4. So that was my thoughts really on The Maze Runner, the book, with a little bit of a reference to the film. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this book. If you've got a video where you've talked about this, please link it below. Or if you've got some thoughts on it, just write it in the comment box below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe.